So I'm flying out to Germany in less than 24 hours. I'll be in Frankfurt for, I think, like a day or two. Leipzig, Hamburg, so, I gotta see that giant foot statue. And then I'll be in Berlin, so that should be fun. Follow my Instagram, follow the adventures, because I'll be going to 2 games, Turkey versus Austria, and then another game that could be potentially France versus Portugal. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's get these predictions done over with, because I have my thoughts, and I want to share them with you. So we got some pretty interesting matches. We're going to start off though with Spain versus Georgia. Now for Georgia, this is their first international tournament and they advanced to the knockouts. I mean, I don't think any Georgian was expecting the knockouts, but here you are. Unbelievable feat, no fluke either. They were extremely entertaining to watch in every single game they played. One of the hardest working teams in this tournament by far on and off the ball, and that has helped them put up great fights against Czechia, Turkey, and then also they won against Portugal. Portugal did have like 7 changes, but still, beating Portugal is a huge feat. And it's even bigger when it gets you in the knockout round. Now, Mikatadze has 3 goals to his name. Kokoashvili has impressed me a ton in that midfield. Kvaradona seems to finally be rediscovering his form as he did just score against Portugal. And Georgi Mamardashvili, by far the best keeper in this tournament, not even a question about it. And if they were playing anyone else, I could have said this would be an upset, but they are playing Spain. And Spain are actually the real deal this time. I know what you're saying, Maxwell, we have heard this so many goddamn times since like 2014, and they keep floundering. But I'm serious when I say this, and this is coming from Spain's biggest hater, the person who literally predicted them losing to Morocco 2 years ago. Spain are actually the real deal. They still have that dominating possession identity, but instead of the averaging over 1,000 passes per game and doing nothing with it, their attack is actually very effective. And that's all thanks to really just utilizing their wingers for the first time in like eons. Nico Williams in particular has impressed me a ton in this tournament. And midfielder Fabian Ruiz has been, I would say, one of the best players in this tournament. He's been phenomenal for Spain. In general, that midfield is just spectacular. Pedri gives Spain creativity and Rodri just gives you that stability. And by some surprise, Marc Cucurella has been one of the best fullbacks in this tournament. Now listen, I've loved what I've seen from Georgia, but they are up against Spain. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win to Spain. I don't think it's going to be a destruction like that 7-1 in qualifiers. I think with Mamardashvili and a team that knows their identity, this should be a pretty good game. We got the host Germany versus Denmark now. Germany's bounced back incredibly under Julian Nagelsmann. Jamal Musiala has been fantastic in this tournament. His ability to carve defenses with his close dribbling has been so fun to watch. Toni Kroos, as I had expected, has been key to this team's success in the midfield. I've also liked what I've seen from Ilkay Gundogan, and that partnership of Rudiger and Ta has really impressed me as well. Ta especially, even though he is suspended for this game. Oh, and one more thing, Kai Havertz, I love the guy. If Germany want to actually be successful in this tournament, play Niklas Füllkrug. Denmark are here, I guess. I mean, there's not much you can really say for a team that advanced as runners-up with 3 draws. But Christian Eriksen at 32 years old and running off ChatGPT, easily by far Denmark's best player. 4.3 key passes per 90. Pierre-Emil Højbjerg, I owe my apologies to you. You've also been very solid in Denmark's midfield. And speaking of midfield, I've also liked what I've seen from Morten Hjulmand, especially that banger he scored. Also in defense, you have Joachim Andersen, who has been relatively solid. Jan Vestergaard has also put in a good performance for that Danish defense. But this all said, I mean, come on. This is all Germany here. I think they win 3-0. Portugal versus Slovenia next. Ignoring their last game because they made 7 changes, Portugal has been pretty good. They were shaky versus Czechia, but they managed to come back and win that game. And then they absolutely destroyed Turkey with a very strong performance. 41-year-old defender Pepe has been aging backwards. It's quite honestly kind of uncanny. And he's been paired up with Ruben Dias, who's also been fantastic in this tournament. Vitinha in the midfield has been quietly impressing me as well. And in attack, Bernardo Silva and Bruno Fernandes have been vital. But now we have to ask ourselves this question. Has Roberto Martinez finally learned how to not choke? On the other hand, Slovenia, massive underdogs. Everyone's going to overlook them in this matchup. but honestly, I have really loved them defensively. Jan Oblak, even at his age, has done a solid job, and in front of him, Jakob Biel has been one of the best performing defenders in the entire tournament. And you also can't forget Erik Jansa. And there's also Timmy Max Elsnik, who has been working his ass off as a box-to-box midfielder. When you look at the Slovenia team, there are so many things going for them where you think that, yeah, they could totally produce an upset, even if it is Portugal. And if they are to manage that, someone has to break out of his cocoon, and that's Benjamin Šeško. Šeško has shown potential as much as he can because this is Slovenia and he's not going to get that many touches in a game. He struck the post twice already from way out, but can he finally strike gold? As I've said, I love what Slovenia's got for them, but I still think Portugal has this one down. They'll win 1-0. I hate this one. France versus Belgium, the mid-off. France has been so underwhelming. It is honestly incredible that they are still in this tournament. Despite having so much attacking quality, they have only scored through a single own goal and a penalty. The one positive, though, is N'Golo Kanté, who in the big 2024 has been France's best performing player. I'm not even kidding, by the way, he has 2 Man of the Match awards. Mike Maignan, for what it's worth, has been really good in between the sticks too, but like outside of that, yeah, I mean, France has been ass. And then there's Belgium, and it's really just the same, honestly. When you lose to Slovakia and can't score versus Ukraine, I'm sorry, but you're not going far. Kevin De Bruyne, even though he hates international football, has literally put this team on his back, and there's no one else. There's truly no one else besides him. Romelu Lukaku has scored 3 offside goals and another 4 imaginary ones. And it's actually insane to me how he's managed to start all 3 games when Lois Openda is right there. And I'm always hearing talks about Belgium's new wave of talent. You heard that in the last preview video, and they've done nothing. Listen, if I were UEFA, both of these teams would be out. They disgust me. This game is going to be a boring 0-0 by 120 minutes, and France will win on penalties. Next one. Romania versus the Netherlands now, and oh boy, I have to talk about another severely underwhelming team. The Dutch. Virgil van Dijk is defending like he is off 5 Jaeger bombs. I don't even want to talk about his performance versus Austria. And dear lord, if I have to subject myself to the Dutch midfield again, I might go crazy. It's like I've traveled to Wyoming again. There's nothing, no civilization, nothing. And Memphis Depay, great goal versus Austria, but besides that, you've been ass. You somehow made Upamecano look like Prime Maldini. The only bright spots in this team have been Xabi Simons and Cody Gakpo, which now reminds me, there could be a third player, Jeremy Frimpong, but somehow Ronald Koeman is completely fumbling that bag. Now, Romania on the other hand, one of the big surprises in this tournament, they won their group. Florin Ninta has been fantastic between the sticks. I've really liked the defense as well. Fullback Andrei Rațiu has been one of Romania's best performers. Radu Dragusin has been solid as well. And Romania's attack hasn't been half bad either. Dennis Mann had 2 assists versus Ukraine. And there's also Razvan Marin, who has 2 goals to his name. Honestly, I think the Dutch have another early exit here. They don't convince me whatsoever. And I really like Romania's setup. They look like a complete team. So I'm going with a 2-1 win to Romania. Austria versus Turkey. And boy, did I get lucky with this one, because I'm gonna witness an incredible atmosphere. Austria has been one of the most impressive teams so far. Ralf Rangnick is proving everyone wrong with his high pressing tactics, and Austria has been hardworking off the ball and incredibly efficient in their sequences. Marcel Sabitzer has been fantastic, as has defensive midfielder Niklas Sewald. A more unsung hero, Stefan Posch, fantastic in all 3 games. Christoph Baumgartner has played a great role in the attack. He already has 1 goal and 1 assist. And keep in mind that this is a team that managed to win a group consisting of France and the Netherlands. It doesn't matter how underwhelming those 2 teams were, that is still very impressive. And then there's Turkey. They've been decent. A lot better than previous tournaments, that's for sure. They looked amazing versus Georgia, but then against Portugal, they looked nothing like themselves. And we could talk about the Czechia match, but it's hard to really measure how good they were because I mean, that game was just a mess. But this is the first time that Turkey have made it to the knockouts since their iconic run in 2008. And right off the bat, we have to talk about the 2 19-year-olds. Both Arda Güler and Kenan Yildiz have brought a spark not seen in this Turkish side for a while. Then you got Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who can provide you a goal or 2. But defense has really been Turkey's strength so far in this tournament. Muldur, Kadioglu, and Samet Akaydın all very solid so far. In the end, this is a battle between a dark horse and a quote-unquote dark horse. And I got the actual dark horses for this one. Austria win 3-1. England versus Slovakia next, and oh boy, I get to talk about England. Well, I thought Mark Gahey was pretty solid throughout most of the group stage matches. Yeah, that's all. Gareth Southgate is playing terrorist ball, prime terrorist ball, and it is horrendous to watch. Had Fox Sports just broadcasted fishing over those games instead of the other Eastern European countries, I wouldn't have a problem at all. Harry Kane has been awful. There are literal debates about Bukayo Saka switching to left back, and for some reason, we just haven't seen Anthony Gordon. And God, the midfield is a disaster too. Declan Rice is playing like what a Chinese order in Britain looks like. And because there's no Calvin Phillips, Southgate is going through a whole crisis right now. Now Slovakia, on the other hand, not too bad. Both wingers in Lukas Haraslin and especially Ivan Schranz have put up solid performances, so already better than England. And that midfield setup of Duda, Lobotka, Kuchka has proved me completely wrong. I've especially loved watching Lobotka dictate play for Slovakia. Now I also had my worries about Milan Skriniar, but honestly he's been really solid in defense as well. And right behind him is goalkeeper Martin Dubravka, who has made some really good saves in this tournament. This all said, I'll be completely honest with you, somehow I see England bullshitting their way through. I think this goes 1-1 into extra time and England somehow find a goal. And lastly, we have Switzerland versus Italy. Switzerland is another pleasant surprise. They've been outperforming all their expectations with a pretty unconventional squad. I mean, this team nearly beat the host Germany to win the group. I mean, that says a lot. The Bologna midfield duo of Remo Freuler and Michel Aebischer have done very well so far. Granit Xhaka's ability to cover so much space has been crucial to this team. Attacking midfielder Dan Ndoye has had a pretty solid start to the tournament. He even scored against Germany. And the comeback of Breel and Bolo has been pretty promising as well. Talking about the defense, they are relatively solid. They just have a bit of a tendency to switch off sometimes. Then there's Italy. And I'm sorry, but this team is not good. The only positive, Nicolo Barella. That is all, folks. And sure, they played Spain and Croatia, but Spain dominated them like they were the f***ing Sardinia national team. And they struggled against a Croatian side on its last leg. The defense no longer has Chiellini and Bonucci, and it's showing. They haven't had a single clean sheet, not even one against Albania. And the attack, it's not there at all. Chiesa hasn't awoken the demons, and no one else can do anything. I have Switzerland winning this one 1-0. I honestly would be shocked if Italy beat Switzerland here. And those are my round of 16 predictions. Who do you guys think will go on to the quarterfinals? Let me know. By the way, massive thank you for all the love on the last video, the group stage review. We'll be doing a whole thing for the round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, final, and then I'll probably just put it all into one video. But the group stages video, I worked until 6 a.m. to put together, so glad it's doing well. Thanks for that. Anyways, though, a massive shout out to all our members, including Janos Balas, Brazilian Fury, Respect the Jeff, Oathman JN, Adazir Makalankam, Alex Rod, Ulta, Miguel Munoz, Return Fire, Rory Burns, Slider Kid, Sniffers, Takuoka Fan, The Cypriot 35, Not Windows 95 Man, Kentra Agacha, Big Boars, The Baby Eater II, Kerbo, St. Terrence, Sylvia Citrus, Ryan Jans, Wise Orange, Rashford Enthusiast, Cocosaurus Rex, LeJames Braun, Samu, Just MRC, Cheesebait, Cooper Rory, The Somali Pirate, Claymore Roomba, Winder Gel, M4 Does Stuff, Finn Likes Rugby More, Davox, The Portugeiser, TPSK25, Polar Protos, Van Fan, Lucian Von Croix, Chris Visconti, Dominic Griffin, Kyler Krebs, Mohammed Altanib, Niche, Patrick Barley, Rashford God 5, Raspberry Ale, subscribe to Tendidum, and Unbroken Persona. If you'd like to join the new membership page, there's a link in the description below and up in the annotations. You can follow me on Twitter if you want, follow me on Instagram for any adventures, and you can also follow me on Twitch. I will try and set up a watch along if I can with the German Wi-Fi. We'll see how that goes. But until then, I'll see you guys.